This is the screencast for section 5.3, Sum and Difference Identities of trig. Now, I'm not sure if you've noticed or not, but I put up here a little rule that is not allowed. The cosine of something minus something, so degree minus degree or radian minus radian, you cannot distribute the cosine. Cosine is not multiplication. You cannot do cosine of u minus cosine of v. We have a special formula for those. Same with the sine of something minus something. It is not sine of u minus sine of v. You cannot distribute sine over subtraction or addition. What the formula says you can do, first we're going to talk about the cosine of a sum or difference. The cosine of a sum is the cosine of u plus or minus v equals the cosine of u times the cosine of v minus or plus the sine of u sine of v. So in other words, if you have the cosine of a sum, which is the top symbol here, you will have subtraction in your formula, the top symbol here. If you have the cosine of a difference, the bottom symbol here, you will have in your formula a sum, which is the bottom symbol here. So top, top, bottom, bottom. Using the cosine of a difference identity. Find the exact value of the cosine of 15 degrees without using a calculator. Well, I don't know the cosine of 15 degrees, but I do know the cosine of 45 degrees and the cosine of 30 degrees, and it just so happens that 45 minus 30 is 15. So if I know the cosine of 45 degrees and the cosine of 30 degrees, I can find the cosine of 15 degrees. I'm going to call 45 degrees my u to work in the formula, and 30 degrees my v. So the formula says that if I have the cosine of u minus v, I'm going to take the cosine of u, so the cosine of 45 degrees, times the cosine of v, 30 degrees. Now plus, because I have a subtraction, so I'm going to use the bottom symbol for plus, the sine of 45 degrees times the sine of 30 degrees. Now I know all those. Cosine of 45 degrees is square root 2 over 2. Cosine of 30 degrees is square root 3 over 2. The sine of 45 degrees, square root 2 over 2. The sine of 30 degrees, 1/2. All of that is from the unit circle. Yes, it's back. I know. So now I have the square root of 6 over 4 plus the square root of 2 over 4. Sometimes your book will combine those. You have a common denominator, so that's the square root of 6 plus the square root of 2 all over 4. Then now try example. Number 5 works in radians. The cosine of pi over 12. Yikes. So that's 1/12. Well, I know 12 has can be divided by 2, 6, 3, and 4, and my gut instinct is telling me that 3 and 4 are going to be the type of denominator I need to get 12. It turns out, let's see, I'm trying to find pi over 12, and that's going to be pi over 3 minus pi over 4, because pi over 3 is, let's see, 4/12, and 1/4 is 3/12. So if I take the difference, I will get 1/12. So I'm going to change cosine of pi over 12 to be the cosine of pi over 3 minus pi over 4. So that means the cosine of a difference formula says I take the cosine of pi over 3 times the cosine of pi over 4 plus the sine of pi over 3 times the sine of pi over 4. I know that the cosine of pi over 3 is 1/2, cosine of pi over 4 square root 2 over 2. Also from my unit circle, I know the sine of pi over 3 is square root 3 over 2. Sine of pi over 4 square root 2 over 2. And then when I multiply all that out, I get a common denominator of 4 again, and then square root 2 plus square root 6. Just technically the same answer as before, just written differently.